It is finally happening as the Bears had their big scrimmage yesterday that was closed to the public. We got some really, really good news that we've all been waiting for. Welcome to Bears Digest, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Dylan Guinzy. Thank you for joining me once again. If you have not subscribed already, please do so right now. We're on the road to 5,000. We're about 4,100 give and take right now. Updates daily on everything Bears. We had a lot of stuff going on yesterday. Unfortunate news with Kobe Bryant. And a lot of other injuries too that we'll kind of discuss. But we are updating everything daily, new videos, shorts, everything you can think of. It couldn't be more free. 75% of you that watch are not subscribed, so it's not that hard to hit that button and the notification bell to be aware of anything that we are posting as soon as it comes out. So yesterday, guys, Tuesday, August 11th, we had a big time scrimmage that was planned that every year, Ben Johnson kind of hypes something up as like a big physical contact practice or something that they are going to go extra deep into in terms of how all these players are doing and what spots that they're going to be on the depth chart so far and kind of the first big test of this team. Well, as we all know, the weather in Chicago yesterday was absolutely insane. They had some tornadoes, rain, all the things, thunderstorms, and they had to close that off from the public, and they moved that scrimmage to just media only. And so we got a lot of nuggets from that. So we didn't get videos or anything like that, but we got a lot of nuggets from the reporters. So we're going to collect all that information and discuss that here today. So mainly what this scrimmage was for in Ben Johnson's eyes, as he had the press conference before, was the creating evidence. So basically what he's saying is the coaching staff is going to be able to evaluate where players stand in specific roles and who is climbing their way into the 53-man roster, because as we know, in a couple of weeks, they have to trim that down to the season roster, which is 53. And so it's going to put a lot of guys on test and everything like that, and it did just that yesterday, and there was a lot of good things happening, and we'll discuss, kind of around this title of the video on It's Finally Happening. The first thing with that is the running back success. I think we've always been clamoring for better running back play ever since we lost Matt Forte. It's kind of been up in the air. We've had some good backs, of course, and some good seasons, but never anything extraordinary. And DeAndre Swift was really good last year, and we thought that maybe Ben Johnson was still going to be apprehensive on DeAndre Swift because he was cool letting him go when he was in Detroit. Obviously, that was Campbell's decision, though. But DeAndre Swift had a good year last year, and that is really, really continuing right now, and it continued yesterday when he was absolutely fantastic. We've seen from all the reporters all over the book that he has been incredible in training camp this year, and sometimes when you hear less about a player, it means they're doing really good. Let me ask you guys this. Have you heard anything about Joe Thuney this offseason or in camp? You haven't, right? Because he's a Hall of Fame player, and he's absolutely incredible, and he's always going to be incredible. So, honestly, the less that you hear about some guys, the better it is. And that's kind of what we've been dealing with here with DeAndre Swift. But yesterday he was fantastic, and it stood out. With the offense and defense having 98% of their installs in the 11th practice of camp, opened with focusing on short yardage goal line team drills to build the intensity and competition that Johnson envisioned, carrying over to the rest of the practice. He said that we are not good enough last year, or we're not good enough last year overall in the short yardage and goal line situations, and I agree with that. So they're working on that heavily. The starting offense dominated that period with chunk runs from DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai, who each scored in the first move the ball period. Swift got loose and found his way down the right sideline for a 62-yard touchdown. He had some long receptions last year, but in terms of breakaway runs, it's really never been something that has been a part of his repertoire. He said that he wanted to work on that this year and get a lot better at breaking away runs, and I think we're going to see a lot of that. And that 62-yard TD yesterday was a sight for sore eyes and something good to see. And it's finally happening where we're getting these guys that Ben Johnson believes in, and he's putting them in positions to succeed, and they're taking that and going with it. And this offense looks really, really good. The next thing that I'm very, very happy to see is Rome Odunze playing very, very well. We were kind of apprehensive with his foot injury and that lingering stuff, but I think he's finally coming into his own of being this wide receiver one for the team. And I go back and forth on it. Luther Burden could 100% be that. Colson Loveland could 100% lead the team in receptions. It's up in the air. But I think his talent and his overall route running ability, he's got the speed, he's got the contested catch in his bag. He just needs to work on being better at the catch point, but his routes have been really, really crisp, and I don't think that foot has been plaguing him really at all. That comment that he made about his new normal a couple of months ago, everybody kind of went in on that. But in reality, if you have a big injury or an injury that takes a part of your season, sometimes it's never really going to be the same, but it doesn't mean you can't be the same player, if that makes sense. So quarterback Caleb Williams and the starters aced a tough test towards the end of practice with the offense backed up at its own 1-yard line. The goal for the drill was to get 2 first downs, which Williams accomplished by creating space to find Odunze for a 50-plus yard catch and run, followed by a big gain to Scotty Miller. So this connection between Odunze and Caleb is something that we've always dreamed of. It's been there at times, but not consistently. I think we can see that come more consistently, all injury things aside and stuff like that. I think that Odunze is going to be that reliable target for years to come that we've been looking for. Now, just the only question is will he be that superstar? Who knows? It's really obviously tough to tell. I think Luther Burden has the highest ceiling, but I think Odunze can be that safety net option in that connection with Caleb Williams for years to come. So I think that's finally happening, and I'm glad to see that Odunze is taken off, especially in live periods like we saw yesterday. Now, towards the end of the practice, wasn't as crisp, wasn't as clean as the prior, but both the first and second team offenses weren't as crisp in the situational drills at the end of practice, but Williams exited practice feeling confident in his ability to adjust on the fly and stack strong practices throughout the first 2 weeks of camp. I love Caleb's mentality this year. I absolutely love it. He's wanting to fail now. He knows he's better, right? He knows he's better at the system. He knows he's better at understanding it, but he just wants to keep taking it a step further, keep taking a step further, and he's not blaming anybody. He's purposely going out there, seeing what he can get away with in camp, and making his mistakes now, and he's going to be really, really clean here going forward. This is what he said in his press conference after. I just want to keep getting better for the guys. I want to be faster with my process, to be able to help the O-line throughout, long games and things like that. They're sitting in their stances, be able to get the communication throughout, whether it's on the ball, whether it's in the huddle, just be smoother and faster and everything so that I can be better for the guys, and ultimately that helps us win. The quarterback drives everything, and when we have Caleb and we have Ben calling the plays, there's really nobody to blame. We're going to be able to see it flat out, right? I think in previous years, Justin Fields was never set up for success. He never developed, and we never knew who truly was the answer. We would fire an offensive coordinator. He would still not be good. He would have a little bit of a good stretch and then be bad. All these things, right? But now we know we have an offensive guru. We have a mad scientist at head coach who's always going to be calling the plays and putting you in the best position possible. And Caleb Williams just needs to grow into that. So I love where we're at. I think we're finally seeing a good thing happening in a linear progression sort of way. And it's going to continue, and I absolutely love it as a fan, and you guys should too. Now to some more injury stuff. The secondary has been plagued. Obviously, the Kobe Bryant news came out yesterday, but Cam Lewis returned to practice for stretching and individual drills, but went inside during 11-on-11. We don't know what happened there yet. They don't have practice today, so it's an off day, so we might not hear anything till tomorrow. Cornerback Tyreek Stevenson had a solid day, and may have thought he came away with an interception. Officials did not call that, but was not on the field for the final period as he was replaced by Malik Muhammad. So we are seeing them work out more guys in the secondary, probably sign some guys here soon, because honestly, they need bodies for the preseason games and in practice in general. A lot of these guys are dealing with little small injuries here and there by design. This is the part of training camp where that happens. But just a couple of updates there in the secondary in terms of injuries. So just wanted to cover the scrimmage from yesterday. The offense is looking absolutely crisp and pristine overall. Odunze finally coming into his own here after the injury last year. DeAndre Swift finally coming into, honestly, I wouldn't say a workhorse running back, but I think he's going to be so efficient this year. And I'm eating my words on that because I did not believe DeAndre Swift before last year. Like, I was not in it at all. If you guys go back and watch those videos, I really wanted them to sign or trade for a running back last year in the offseason. Believe in Ben. I'm believing in Ben. You guys should too. And I think DeAndre Swift is going to have a really, really good year. So thank you guys for joining Bears Digest once again. We'll be back with practice here tomorrow and those updates. We'll see you next time.